In 2014, Umaisyah vanished from view. The exact date of her death could not be established, but what was clear was that no medical help was sought, no authorities were called, and no burial was given. This is a story of Umaisyah. Singapore, a nation often regarded as one of the safest places in the world, a place where violent crime is rare and children are thought to grow up shielded from danger. But beneath this polished image, there are stories that shatter the illusion. Now, this is one such story, the story of a little girl named Umaisyah, a child who was never given the chance to grow up, a child whose life was taken not by strangers but by the very people who were supposed to protect her. In the chapters that follow, we will examine what happened inside that home, how a child slipped through the cracks, how her parents tried to erase her existence, and how investigators painstakingly pieced together the truth. Now, this is not an easy story to tell, and it is not an easy story to hear, but it is a story that must be remembered. Umaisyah was born in 2010, one of several children in the family. From early on, her home life was unstable. The children endured neglect and abuse. Her father struggled with drug use and rehabilitation, and her mother was assessed as unable to care for her own, leading to Umaisyah being placed in foster care as an infant. From the outside, little seemed amiss. At just 2 years old, Umaisyah's life was in danger. Umaisyah had never been enrolled in school, which meant her prolonged absence went unnoticed. Over the years, her parents spun lies about her whereabouts, claiming that she was with relatives or in foster care. And so, Umaisyah's absence was never formally reported. For years, relatives, schools, and agencies accepted her parents' lies about where she was. During welfare checks by the Ministry of Social and Family Development, authorities began asking questions the parents could no longer deflect. When officials pressed for answers, Umaisyah's parents gave excuse after excuse. It was only in September 2019 that the truth finally surfaced. She was dead.
Neighbours living on the same floor where the alleged murder occurred told us that the neighbours don't really interact with one another. Those we've interviewed said that they've never seen the couple or the child, and neither have they heard or smelled anything unusual. In fact, one of them told us that the first inkling that something was amiss was when police came knocking
For more
at
than
doors.
5 years, her remains were hidden inside the family's flat. Police were called in. The flat was sealed off as a crime scene. Investigators eventually uncovered them in a sealed metal cooking pot placed under the kitchen stove. What they found revealed not only neglect but deliberate concealment and cruelty. For more than 5 years, life in the flat went on as if nothing had happened, and with other children growing up in the same home, unaware they were living alongside the concealed remains. Inside the interview rooms, detectives pressed Umaisyah's parents for answers. At first, they denied knowledge. Slowly, as evidence mounted, their story unraveled. The mother admitted that Umaisyah had died in the flat, offering shifting explanation. The father confessed knowing, sometimes blaming his partner. Their accounts conflicted, but one fact remained chillingly consistent. Both had allowed her to die. Prosecutors faced an uphill battle. Years of concealment meant an exact cause of death could never be determined. What could be proven was this: neglect, abuse, and a deliberate conspiracy to hide the truth. Investigators pieced together a grim timeline. Forensic evidence confirmed concealment, witnesses corroborated her absence, and the parents' shifting testimonies betrayed their guilt. Umaisyah had been voiceless, hidden, and forgotten, but now the world knew. In 2019, the case reached the courtroom. Singaporeans followed developments with horror and disbelief. Prosecutors revealed a toxic household where abuse and neglect were routine. Umaisyah, only 2 years old, had been especially vulnerable. The defense claimed panic and fear after her death, downplaying intent. But the concealment of a child's body for 3 years could not be softened. Judges, prosecutors, and the public were appalled. In the end, both parents were convicted.
30-year-old woman have been charged with the murder of their 2-year-old daughter today. The toddler was allegedly killed in a rental flat in Chin Swee Road over 5 years ago, but her remains were found only last Tuesday.
The mother was sentenced to 14 years imprisonment after being found guilty of ill treatment, causing hurt and concealing Umaisyah's body. The father received 21 and a half years imprisonment and 18 strokes of the cane, convicted of grievous hurt, causing her death and concealing her remains. For many, the sentences were just, yet still inadequate. No punishment could return Umaisyah's life. The courtroom emptied, headlines faded, but for those who followed the case, the memory of that child, hidden in silence for years, lingered. Umaisyah's story is one of cruelty, neglect, and systemic failure. In the aftermath, welfare checks were reviewed and cross-agency communication was strengthened so that children at risk could not slip so easily through the cracks. Umaisyah was not the only child affected. Her siblings were removed from the household and placed into protective care. Officials confirmed that support and interventions were provided, though the lasting impact of those early years could never be fully erased. Her story forced a nation to confront uncomfortable truths. Are we truly watching over every child? Umaisyah's life has reshaped child protection policies. It is a reminder that vigilance matters, silence can kill, and every child deserves to be seen, cared for, and remembered. Until then, thank you so much for watching Late Night with Rizal Aiman. This is a story of Umaisyah.